He was placed on probation with 18 months. Complete the Don Farm assessment, attend the Mad Victim Impact Panel. So, sir, you're driving while drunk, and I'm being petty.
Just trying to be better. That's all I'm really trying to do, is just trying to be better.
Mr. Hart, I can imagine that this is very different for you, this whole situation that you've gotten yourself into. You've taken a fall from grace to this.
Welcome to Judge Washington's courtroom, where today's case revolves around a former corrections officer grappling with the ramifications of his actions. This defendant, previously tasked with upholding the law, now finds himself on the wrong side of it after being arrested for his second DUI offense. The transition from enforcing county regulations to being subject to them hasn't been easy for this individual. Frustrations have mounted, leading to outbursts directed at court staff and the probation department, dismissing their efforts as petty. Judge Washington now faces the challenge of managing this defendant's blatant disrespect for court staff after cursing them out on many occasions. Will she hold this former officer accountable for his actions? Stay tuned to witness Judge Washington's approach to this case and the verdict she delivers.
State of Michigan versus Olajuwon Hart, case number 22S00490.
Richard McDuffie for the people.
Fellow defender Deputy Bowmore, Mr. Hart, who's standing to the left. Please state your name.
Olajuwon Hart.
Good afternoon, everybody. You can have a seat. So I am arraigning Mr. Hart on a couple of things, in addition to, I believe he's here for the contempt proceeding. Or is it just the VOP? Guess it's just the VOP, although it looks like it should be a contempt proceeding. So, sir, the new violation is that you failed a drug test as ordered, and you failed to report to probation for over 60 days. The recommendation at this time is for 15 days in the Washtenaw County Jail, and to continue you on your probation and follow your sober link guidelines. In addition to that, it appears that you have, one, called this court petty, two, basically told off everybody in the criminal traffic division, yelled at the probation coordinator. So there's a host of issues that we have going on here with you. Mr. Lebo, what would you like to do with this time?
All right, you want to just clarify the procedural posture here, which is my understanding was that Mr. Hart previously pled guilty to these VOPs and that we're here for a sentencing.
Okay, let me see if that's correct.
Thank you.
Ms. McDuffie, do you show that he pled on November 30th?
I do. I have that he, let's see, I have that he needs to come in person for sentencing as of, yes. And then it was originally on the 12th, and then it was moved to the 14th, and then we changed it to today after the holiday. So yeah, I do have that he was getting sentenced on all of the other ones prior to today.
All right. Back on October 3rd is when I extended his sentence so he could get the requirements done. He was placed on probation with 18 months. Complete the Don Farm assessment, attend the Mad Victim Impact Panel. So, sir, you're driving while drunk, and I'm being petty. Is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client before we proceed to sentencing?
Your Honor, I do have sentencing allocution.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I did discuss this pretty extensively with Mr. Hart. he does admit that he let his anger get the better of him and that he should not have done that. He certainly doesn't feel that the court is petty, and he certainly realized that he should not have spoken that way to the traffic criminal department. But he's told me that he's working 2 full-time jobs, one at KFC from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and one at Comerica Park from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and one of those 5 days a week and one of 4 days a week. He's also spending a lot of time with his son, who's just started middle school. He's trying to get whenever he can, but he's not working. He missed the SoberLink because of those complications in his life. And when he called the court, he became very emotional. He felt overwhelmed. He told me that he feels like he's losing everything in his life because of this case. And that's been a very significant emotional impact on him. He was a correctional officer prior to this. He lost his job due to this case. So he's been going through a great deal of personal complications as a result of other things in his life and as a result of his actions that led to his conviction in this matter, and that led up to him losing his temper and letting his anger get the better of him when he spoke to this court's traffic criminal department and emailed with Ms. Straub. So that would ask the court to consider a sentence in lieu of incarceration, perhaps something that would help Mr. Hart learn to manage his anger more effectively.
Mr. Hart, what would you like to say, sir?
I would like to apologize to the court, Your Honor. Like you said, it's just been a very difficult time for me. So, you know, I do take the case serious. I don't want it to seem like I don't take the nature of all this serious. I do take it serious. I am trying to get my life on track. That day in particular, it just seems like every time I try to go to, you know, take steps in a positive direction, it's almost like I'm taking 20 steps backwards. You know, I haven't had anything to alcohol. I haven't had anything to drink. I've been compliant. So it just seems, I just get frustrated when it just doesn't seem like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So I know I can't behave that way. Obviously, I went out here and broke the law. So, you know, I have to answer to that. But, you know, I just want to say, you know, I do apologize. You know, that's not who I am as a person. I wasn't raised that way to be disrespectful. But like I said, I'm just trying to dig myself out of the hole. But it just seems like it's not a light at the end of the tunnel. So it's overwhelming and it's just frustrating. So sorry. Doing the best I can to comply with all the orders, you know, given the circumstances. And so, you know, all I can really say is going forward, you know, I can just, you know, get a grip on my anger and just, you know, just try to do better. That's all I'm really trying to do is just trying to do better.
Mr. Hart, I can imagine that this is very different for you, this whole situation that you've gotten yourself into. You've taken a fall from grace to this. And it must be challenging to be humbled in this way. As a community, as a corrections officer, you were in charge. You got to tell people what to do. Now you're sitting on the other end. So the first question is, how'd you end up making a choice to be drinking and driving anyway? Which I'm sure you grappled with already on your own. So I don't know how you got there. I'm sure you do. How you ended up making that choice to bring yourself within the jurisdiction of a court where you were in a position of enforcing the court's orders, enforcing the jail's orders. Where did you work?
Right here around Valley.
The women's facility?
Yeah.
You pled as charged, so you got community service instead of having to do jail time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think you've come to terms with where you are. And I know it's hard. But I didn't make that choice for you. My probation department didn't. Neither did my clerks. The result of your actions, the repercussions with your job came from your job, not from us. And look at me, I'm sitting right here, over here. That came from your job, not from me, not from them. And you really aren't in control right now. And you can't talk to anybody the way you've been talking to them. And I understand that you're going through a lot and this is hard for you. So you got to figure out what you need to be able to get through this. As a corrections officer, you don't want to be spending your time behind bars. I don't want to have to put you there. But you're taking your anger out at the wrong people. Can you at least see that yet?
Yeah, I can see it. You know, I understand it and I recognize it, you know. And it's like you said, it's just pretty much trying to figure out, you know, where I go from here. And it's like you said, I'm not in control, you know. And it's like I've never been in a position like that in life, you know. So it's just, I don't know, it's just one thing after another. You know, life is life in general with all the stuff that we all have to deal with and go through, and you know, just everyday life. But I don't know, just trying to, I had my life set for a way that it was supposed to go. And then, yeah, I messed it up. So it's just like trying to start over and figure out what now.
Yes, you may proceed.
I mean, the question that I have, and I share the court's concern about Mr. Hart on a few different levels. As you mentioned, he pled his charge, but this is a second offense. So it's not just that he made a choice this one day to drink and drive. It was a couple years after his prior case. And I guess he had, I don't know if he had probation or what in that one. My concern is that, one, as a former corrections officer, we know that he should know better, but I think that he seems to be having some difficulty. I'm not trying to be a psychologist or anything, just grappling with the fact that he is also a quote unquote regular person, subject to the same consequences that he's been enforcing. And I don't think he sees himself in that way, which may be causing some sort of block for him to really engage in what he needs to move forward. But two, his record was clean before that first offense. I don't know what happened to cause him to make the choice the first time to go through what he had to go through on that case. And then with the break in time, do it again. Something else appears to be going on with him that is causing him to make those multiple choices. And I don't know, there's programming for alcoholism, if that is indeed what he's going through. There's programming for making better choices, but I don't know if he has been ordered or even availed himself voluntarily of any just general therapy or counseling for overall what's going on in his life. That's all.
Your Honor, can I have a moment to respond?
Could I just confer with Mr. Hart for a moment?
You may.
Mr. Hart does have some additional statement you'd like to make to shed some light on what led up to his drinking offenses.
I just wanted to say this in response to Ms. McDuffie. Like she had stated, she said prior to the first DUI, my record is clean. And for the most part it is. I mean, the only thing that's on there is, is these DUIs. But I would say I didn't start obtaining, I was 26 when I got the first one, but I didn't, and that's around the first time, that's around when I started working, with the state and the corrections when I picked up. Prior to this, I had been driving. I've never had any incidences, but I will say this, Your Honor. Once I started working, in the prison system with coworkers and stuff like that, and the drinking I noticed increased, just for the nature of the job. We all know what the nature of the job entails, but that's where this came, and it just, I don't know, the first one happened, and then, like you said, a couple years ago, the second one happened, and kind of all work related, and so that's where that comes from. Other than that, I never had an issue with driving or drinking. I've never been in trouble with the law. You know what I'm saying? I never had a problem. I never was getting DUIs or anything like that. But I will say, when I started working with the state, when I was working with the state, that's where these two DUIs came. That's where I picked them up.
Were you hanging out with your coworkers drinking?
Yeah, just after, just drinking and just leaving the bar and just got pulled over. So, I mean, but like I said before, I've never been in trouble before. This is the only trouble I've ever had with the law, with the drinking and driving. It just so happens that I happen to be working for the law at the time that I picked them up. So it's just like, that's where I'm at.
Well, some people who get positions of power think that it entitles them to be able to do things. But I see it as you have an obligation and a responsibility to be better. And, if I were out drinking and driving and I got caught, I would no longer be a judge. I'd be done. That's the end of that. I get that. And I would accept the consequences that come along with that because of whatever stupid choice I made. So I don't do it. In reality, you should have known that before you made these choices too. But you got caught up in what everybody else is doing. And that's how you wind up here. And now you're here again, not because of coworkers, but because of you, because you have chosen to see this process as nothing but a detriment to you, as opposed to the opportunity that it could potentially be. And it's hard, I get that, to see it because you've lost so much in your mind. But as human beings, we are created with the ability to create opportunities and jobs and things like that. And you have skill sets that you just need to figure out where to place those skill sets into a new avenue. And get past your anger over where you are, because guess what? That part is done. It's done. Now all you can do is try to be a better person than you were then in a different way. And be a better human being, because who you're being right now is going to end you up in a place where there will be no upside. You're just going to keep going down. Because being in jail is not going to help you, in my opinion, to be a better person. Are you deserving of that punishment at this time? Yeah, you probably are. But I'm hoping that you can actually hear me and that you can figure this out.
I hear you, Joanna.
You got that job for a reason because of who you were presenting at that time. You need to dig deep back down and figure out who that person is. And become that person again, as opposed to the person that you've been. And you need to write a letter of apology to my staff and to my probation department.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm actually gonna not sentence you today because I want to know whether you get it or not. Because if you don't get it, then I'll send you to jail. If you do get it and you have a turnaround, I'll give you that opportunity. That's gonna be all up to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop blaming everybody else for your choices. My whole conversation about accepting responsibility and being a responsible human being is because you think that it's with your coworkers, and in a way you accept responsibility for it, but in a way I think you're angry that you were with them and you were doing this. This is your choice. These are your every one of them is your choice. Accept responsibility for your own choices. And I believe there's a program that involves that. Ms. Johnson, are you there? I know I've been asking a lot of you today. What is that program? That program that has people look at their own choices and accept responsibility for their choices. Do you remember which?
It is with Crossroads, and the name of the program, I'm pulling it up right now, Your Honor.
Your Honor, while Ms. Johnson is looking that up, can the people make an additional request that after he engages in whatever programming the court orders shortly, that he, and I'm specifically asking after that, if that happens, that he also write a letter of apology to himself?
And the program is the self-awareness program with the Crossroads Behavior Center.
All right, I'm not gonna sentence you today. I'm gonna have you do a couple of things. One, write the letter of apology to my staff, my clerks, my probation agent. Write the letter of apology to yourself so you can forgive yourself and move on for what you've done and start a new path in your life, because you don't have a choice now. You've got to do that. And then I believe that program that she's talking about, is that a 1 day or what is that?
It is just a 1-day course, Your Honor. It is should be a 4-hour class.
So you're not in control, right? You're not in control of what happens in this particular environment. You are in control of your own life now. This is where you can go negative, right here in this case that you have now put yourself in that space for. And I know what they say on the streets, and you've been in the jails and the prisons, so you know you don't want to be on paper, but you are. And just like everybody else, you got to do what the judge orders and what the probation department orders. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I will okay, you can come down, you can go down to the probation department, they're gonna give you the referral, okay? I'll bring you back here for sentencing. On March 7th, 2024 at 11 o'clock a.m. I'm gonna make it in person again, because in case you don't do that stuff, we'll be looking at something different.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So get the referral for the self-awareness and write those letters. Okay. I'm trying to give you plenty of time to do it, and you'll still be doing the rest of your probation at the same time. So do you have a new job?
Yeah.
You don't
I'm
have to
working
put
2
it
jobs
on.
right now.
I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah, I'm working 2 jobs right now.
You are? Okay, he did just say that. You're working 2 jobs. And that is making you angry because you were able to subsist with just your one before.
Yeah, it's just too dedicated. You know, that's one thing is like, I just don't want to be doing it, you know? It's too,
They're not taking you anywhere.
no. So, you know, I got to go back to the drawing board.
But you can do that. Stop being angry about it and do it,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? All right. You're all set, sir. I'll see you on that day, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.